This is a homodyne interferometer. The device was designed to detect motion and record its own speed in the medium which propagates electromagnetic waves, which we will call the ether. The purpose of the circuit is to detect a time delay of one of the beams. According to the setup, after the source beam is divided into two, one portion of the beam goes directly to the screen detector, and the second portion reaches the detector after some time delta t, which is determined by the length of the optical fiber. The point is to compare the wavelengths emitted by the same source, but at different times and at different speeds of the system. When two beams that have passed different optical paths overlap, an interference pattern appears on the screen detector. The task is to precisely trace the reaction of the interference fringes to the motion of the device during acceleration, and to therefore make a judgment about the velocity mode of the system in the ether. It's an established scientific fact that at any constant velocity of the system, the interference fringes in the device stand still. In other words, the picture is motionless. But the question is this: what will happen to the interference pattern when the velocity changes, i.e., when the system accelerates? The device was designed to study exactly this situation. In the course of numerous experiments, it was recorded that the interference fringes shift precisely during acceleration. In this case, when the velocity became constant but at a different value from the previous velocity, the bands on the screen did not return to their original position, but took their new arrangement corresponding to this new velocity. By measuring the magnitude of the displacement of the fringes, it's possible to determine both relative and absolute velocity in the light-bearing medium, i.e., the ether. The experiments were carried out on technical devices capable of moving with acceleration. The results showed that the device functions not only as an accelerometer, but also as a speedometer. A distinctive feature of the device is its independence from GPS satellites and other external reference points, as well as the ability to function in space, underwater, underground, and in other isolated regions. A fully developed version of the device has an important feature which allows us to not only measure the absolute velocity, but also to determine the direction of movement of the system in the ether. This feature is important both for applied future astronautics and likewise for today's fundamental physics. All specifications of the device and the experiment can be found on the internet at the following link. The device is not complicated and therefore can be assembled in any optical laboratory so that it can be observed in action. It should be understood that the device is still in its initial stages of development, yet we've received not only qualitative results, but also consistent and convincing quantitative results. The prospects are obvious, namely the ability for navigation without the need for GPS satellites. But, in order to bring the device to a state of reliable practical use, the interest of various individuals and legal organizations will be required. It looks like a Pandora's box has been opened in physics and technology, and the device presented is not our only development, but this is another topic.